Welcome to the Global Updates, bringing you the latest news from around the world. The world froze. In an instant, the ordinary hum of travel was replaced by a chilling silence. Airports, usually alive with the sounds of rolling suitcases and boarding calls, became places of disbelief and fear. As headlines blared, Boeing 787 Dreamliner down over the Pacific, news tickers flashed urgent updates, and television screens replayed the same devastating footage on loop. June 15, 2025 became a day of tragedy. 289 lives lost in a matter of minutes, a flight vanishing from radar with no warning, leaving families and friends desperate for answers. Vigils sprang up overnight, candles flickering in the darkness as the world mourned together. Airports worldwide buzzed with fear, passengers eyed Boeing flights with suspicion, their confidence shattered. The familiar sight of a Dreamliner at the gate now inspired anxiety instead of excitement. Social media erupted. #Boeing ground the fleet trended globally as public trust crumbled. People shared stories, fears, and outrage, demanding answers and accountability from the world's largest aircraft manufacturer. This wasn't just another accident, it was the Dreamliner, Boeing's pride, now a symbol of failure. The aircraft that once represented innovation and safety was suddenly grounded, its future uncertain. Search teams found only scattered debris, confirming the worst. The vast Pacific offered few clues, and every piece of wreckage pulled from the water deepened the sense of loss. Families waited in agony, hope fading with every hour. Each unanswered phone call, each minute without news, was a fresh wound for those left behind. The crash forced a global reckoning. Could we trust the planes we fly? Travelers everywhere questioned their safety, and airlines faced a tidal wave of cancellations and fear. Questions raged. Had Boeing learned from past disasters, or were deeper problems at play? Investigators and executives faced mounting scrutiny, their every move watched by a nervous world. The pressure on Boeing was immediate and immense. Protesters gathered outside headquarters, journalists demanded answers, and the company's reputation hung in the balance. And before the investigation could even begin, the aviation world was about to change forever. The Dreamliner disaster was not just a tragedy, it was a turning point, one that would reshape the future of flight. The fallout was swift and brutal. In a matter of days, the aviation world was rocked by a series of unprecedented decisions that would send shockwaves through the industry. The atmosphere at airports and inside boardrooms was tense, as everyone waited to see who would make the next move. Emirates, Boeing's longtime ally and one of the world's most influential airlines, made the first move. They canceled all outstanding orders for the 787 Dreamliner and the highly anticipated 777X. This wasn't just a business decision, it was a public statement of lost confidence in Boeing's ability to deliver safe, reliable aircraft. Financial markets reeled as the news broke. Investors scrambled to assess the damage, and Boeing's stock plummeted. This was a total rejection from a key partner, and the implications were felt far beyond the aviation sector. Next came KLM, a carrier with a century-long history of flying Boeing jets. They too canceled their 787-10 order, citing a fundamental breach of trust. For KLM, this was more than a contract dispute. It was a break from tradition, a signal that even the most loyal customers had reached their limit. Then Qantas, renowned for its impeccable safety record, delivered the final blow. The Australian giant canceled its Dreamliner orders and announced a major shift to Airbus for its future fleet. For Qantas, safety and reliability were non-negotiable, and Boeing no longer met their standards. 3 industry leaders, all abandoning Boeing in a matter of days. Their decisions sent a clear message to the world. Confidence in Boeing had evaporated almost overnight. The message was clear. The risks of flying Boeing had become too great. Airlines could no longer justify putting passengers and reputations on the line. Billions were lost in canceled contracts and plummeting share prices, but the symbolism was even greater. The world was witnessing the collapse of a giant's reputation. Emirates, KLM, and Qantas set the industry standard. If they walked away, others might follow. Their actions emboldened other airlines to reconsider their own relationships with Boeing. Their unified exit shattered decades of trust, unraveling partnerships that had shaped the modern aviation era. The era of Boeing's dominance was over. Airlines everywhere took notice, holding emergency meetings and re-evaluating their future fleet plans. The shockwaves would reshape aviation for years to come. Routes, alliances, and even the balance of power in the skies were suddenly in flux. Boeing's crisis was now a global reckoning. News outlets around the world covered the unfolding drama, and the aviation community braced for more fallout. The skies would never be the same. A new chapter in aviation had begun, and the world was watching to see what would happen next. Emirates, KLM, and Qantas didn't act on impulse. Their decisions to distance themselves from Boeing were the result of years of careful observation and mounting concern. These airlines, known for their high standards and global reputations, watched as warning signs accumulated, each one chipping away at their confidence in Boeing's ability to deliver safe, reliable aircraft. Boeing's troubles began with the tragic 737 MAX disasters, which not only resulted in devastating loss of life, but also exposed fatal design flaws and a hidden software system that pilots weren't even told about. The world watched as the MAX was grounded, and the aviation industry was shaken to its core. Investigation soon revealed a troubling culture inside Boeing, one that prioritized profit and production speed over the safety of passengers and crew. Engineers reported being pressured to cut corners, while regulators were misled or kept in the dark about critical issues. Whistleblowers bravely stepped forward, describing how their warnings about safety risks and shoddy production practices were ignored or dismissed by management. Their testimonies painted a picture of a company losing sight of its core values. Even after the MAX was cleared to fly again, Boeing's problems didn't end. New issues surfaced: debris found in fuel tanks, manufacturing flaws in the Dreamliner, and even mid-flight failures that forced emergency landings. Each new headline further eroded trust. For passengers, pilots, and airlines alike, every incident deepened doubts about Boeing's commitment to safety. The sense of unease grew, as did the frustration of those who depended on Boeing's planes to keep their schedules and their promises. Airlines depend on reliability. Grounded planes mean not just lost revenue, but also lost trust from customers and partners. Delays and cancellations became more frequent, straining relationships and damaging reputations. The pattern was impossible to ignore. Boeing's problems weren't isolated incidents. They were symptoms of deeper, systemic issues that threatened the entire industry's faith in the company. Emirates, KLM, and Qantas saw a company that had drifted far from its proud engineering roots, a company struggling to regain its footing in a world where safety and trust are everything. Ultimately, these airlines decided they could no longer risk their hard-earned reputations on Boeing's promises alone. The stakes were simply too high. The break was painful, marked by difficult conversations and tough decisions, but for these airlines it was necessary to protect their passengers and their futures. In the end, safety had to come first, no matter the cost, no matter the history. Emirates and Boeing once defined global aviation together. The Dubai carrier's vast network was built on Boeing's wide-bodies, especially the 777. But delays, broken promises, and safety scandals eroded trust. The Dreamliner crash was the final straw. Emirates canceled all Boeing orders and pivoted to Airbus, ordering 50 A351,000s. The A350's technology and efficiency matched Emirates' brand and restored confidence. Emirates' switch was a clear message. Safety and reliability now outweighed loyalty. The airline that once championed Boeing became Airbus's most powerful advocate. The partnership that shaped an era was over. KLM's Blue Jets and Boeing were once inseparable, a century of shared history. But the MAX crisis and Dreamliner flaws shook KLM's faith. The airline's leadership, always cautious, saw too many risks in Boeing's future. Canceling 787 orders was a painful but principled move. KLM turned to Airbus, ordering A321neos and A350-900s to modernize its fleet. The switch brought fuel efficiency, sustainability, and renewed passenger trust. For KLM, the future now meant diversification and a bet on Airbus innovation. A new chapter began for one of aviation's oldest names. Qantas, legendary for safety, built its legacy with Boeing. But repeated delays and scandals shattered that trust. The MAX crisis and Dreamliner issues forced Qantas to rethink its future. Project Sunrise, ultra-long-haul flights, needed reliability Boeing couldn't guarantee. Qantas doubled down on Airbus, ordering A350s, A220s, and A321XLRs for its entire fleet. The move ended decades of Boeing partnership. For Qantas, safety and innovation now meant Airbus. The flying kangaroo leapt boldly into a new era. For decades, Boeing led the skies, but Airbus steadily closed the gap with innovation and efficiency. Airbus pioneered fly-by-wire controls and advanced composites, winning airlines seeking lower costs and greener fleets. Boeing's recent crises, MAX shortcuts, Dreamliner flaws, tarnished its engineering reputation. Public trust shifted, passengers now cared about the planes they flew. Airbus became the symbol of modern, safe and sustainable aviation. Boeing, once the industry's gold standard, was now on the defensive. The choices of Emirates, KLM and Qantas proved the shift was real. The future of flight was being rewritten. The exodus of Emirates, KLM and Qantas was more than lost sales. It was a warning to the world. These weren't just customers, they were Boeing's oldest, most trusted partners. Their departure signaled that trust, once lost, is nearly impossible to regain. In aviation, perception of risk is as damaging as risk itself. Passengers are now more informed and anxious, demanding transparency and safety above all. Airlines must respond, choosing partners who restore confidence. Boeing's only hope is a deep cultural reset, putting engineering and safety first. The world is watching. Can Boeing rebuild, or will it fade as Airbus defines the future? The stakes have never been higher. The skies belong to those who earn our trust.